wants to transform individuals in the society. Yeah. Okay. From the day one, actually, Sangha was actually started only for that purpose, and it has been doing. Sangha का स्वयं सेवक सुधर है.
अच्छा.
Okay. There are a lot of स्वयं सेवक actually who has gone to the BJP. There is nothing called official meeting. Sangha is actually Sangha directly does not actually. Sangha स्वयं सेवक actually has gone on this one. Whoever is like-minded actually we go and speak to everyone. Not only actually with BJP. With other political parties also actually we go and speak. But here in this case, it's been started by स्वयं सेवक.
Birth happened, really. The birth, I think it was during the 80s, was a Mandekadu, was a fishing hamlet, a small village, where you had a Bhagavati Amman temple. Bhagavati Amman temple was right on the shore, where these Hindus will pray, particularly during the annual Amman festival. And that area, the Kolichal and all that, the Kanyakumari area, dominated by the Christian fishermen. That was when the simmering hostility differences between the Christians and the Hindus were happening there, and then there were allegations being made by the Hindu groups that the Christians, missionaries, got converting these fishermen, poor fishermen, big way by giving them boats and nets and things like that. And this was happening when during the festival there will be the beating of the drums and the festivities, mics, loudspeakers and all that. And one particular year, these fishermen obstructed the women procession to the temple, and the allegation is that some of them were assaulted, the women were assaulted, police were also beaten, some 20 people, so ensured, then they opened fire. I think 4 Mandekadu riots. That was when it kind of triggered really a kind of a consolidation of the Hindu, because they had to take on the majority of the Christians there, so they had to kind of consolidate themselves. That's when, even today. And so Kanyakumari has always been, Kanyakumari, Nagarkoil, that region was really the hotbed for the saffron to grow. The Hindu consolidation, the RSS consolidation, started from Mandekadu, and then slowly it started building up. Wherever they found, they could get the locals to, they could convince the locals that they are under threat, either from the Dravidian state or from the Christian missionaries or from the Muslims. The RSS stepped up its activity.
See, RSS, as you all know, started in Nagpur by Dr. Hedgewar. Dr. Hedgewar himself was able to send his so-called disciples, Sangha Karyakartas, across India. So, one Sri Dadarao Parmarth came from Nagpur to Chennai in 1939, and the first Shaka was started in Rayapeta in Chennai in 1939. Since 1939, we are having Shakas in Chennai. And after Dadarao Parmarth and couple of other north-based pracharaks, full-time workers of RSS, it is organic growth in Tamil Nadu. We found our own Karyakartas and we developed Sangha through our hard work in Tamil Nadu. Entire Tamil Nadu, it will be close to 1,700-800 shakas. We have divided Tamil Nadu for our purposes into north and south. We call it 2 states administratively from our perspective. Together it is around 1,800 shakas. Yeah, you would have seen today, it is very simple. 1 hour of shaka, 45 minutes of physical activities. It starts with warming up, exercise, some yoga, Surya Namaskar, lot of games, some sort of discipline inculcating work like what you saw, what we call samatha, march past. All this takes 45 minutes of our time. And another 15 minutes we sing good songs, patriotic songs, and repeat quotes of elders. And then once in a while we have discussions on topics like patriotism, dharma, etc. And we end the shaka with prarthana. Things have changed. In today's current situation, there is no so-called beliefs among the mass or the majority that RSS is a anti-Tamil or Brahminical organization, first of all. Again, you would have seen for yourself. There are, to be frank, I don't know which caste they belong to, but very few Brahmins today. That's how it is across Tamil Nadu. So this Brahminical organization is gone. So that I need not answer further. When it comes to anti-Tamil, again, it's a misconception. Definitely was created long back, and we fought tooth and nail to change that misconception. We are still doing, and it has changed a lot. That's what I would say.
Question: what is the Dravidian god? So there's no god. Actually, everything is a Hindu god. Everybody actually belongs to Bharat.
Because what they push is not Hinduism. They are pushing Hindutva, toxic Hindutva. In the state of Tamil Nadu, which is a rational state, we are cherishing the principles of rationalism for the last 100 years. There was a non-Brahmin organization in 1920s by the Justice Party. So when such ideals are so grounded, it is so permeated the society, organizations such as RSS cannot thrive here.
Wherever Hindus are a majority, there is no separatism. Hence, Hindus should be made a majority. Temple lands in Chennai should be rescued from the DMK and AIADMK. They aren't being maintained properly. Moreover, there has been an increase in the Islamic population in Tamil Nadu. Christian schools preach religion in schools. Why shouldn't we Hindus do the same? That is our objective, to teach Hindu Dharma at school. We have our agenda set to preserve the Hindu culture. Ours isn't a political party. Whoever wants to join hands with us is welcome to do so. The Dravidian parties are failing to bring about betterment for the Hindus. We are the ones consolidating them and bringing them together, spreading awareness among them.
What RSS does is that, RSS wants to see Rama as the God for all. And by that, but Shiva can also be the God for local people, but in their own version. So this kind of recognizing this rights of it, or completely collectivizing this national consciousness is not comfortable. People kind of you take away the memory from people and you just impose something upon them. And there, people have a different perspective of understanding the culture, narratives. I think that is where, the whole conflict exists.
Even gods to be prayed in temple. They want only North Indian gods to be prayed in the temple. Such is the parochialism in regard to religion by the RSS. So people are not acceptable. For example, if you pray Lord Muruga is the god of the soil, Tamil Nadu. You can pray Lord Guruma, that is religion. Vaishnavites, that is a religion. Saivam, that is a religion. Everywhere. RSS approach is to pray, to follow the faith of only Bhagavad Gita. North Indian Bhagavad Gita is not known to the public of Tamil Nadu at all. Here they know the local gods. If at all they know Lord Muruga. See, the situation is like this. They are highly fanatic towards not Hindu religion, the northern attachment. They don't consider non-Hindu states as part of India, the RSS. That is why they are not flourishing anywhere.
How can you classify a god, a Dravidian god, a north-based god? God is one. How can there be so many gods? I would say the basic, there is only one God. You can ask me a question how Hindus see the God, but you can't ask what is a Hindu God. So what I am trying to say is God is always one. Religion is trying to understand that God. That can be different. But how can you classify a God, Hindu God, North God, South God, Dravidian God? All this is bullshit. Hinduism need not be revived. And RSS is a very small organization to revive Hinduism. Hinduism has been there for time immemorial. What RSS says is the way of life that has come up in India, in Bharat, should be called Hinduism, Hindutva, not religion. I always feel personally also, and that is what I have been taught in RSS, that religion is a very personal thing.
The Hindu Munnadi group that you have here, are they associated with the RSS?
Yeah.
They are, right?
Yes.
Now, they openly, like right before this Greater Chennai Corporation elections that happened, the local elections, they went around rallying at different places and openly.
I think they put up some candidates also.
Right, and they openly asked
Because
people to vote.
They are basically local body polls. The local body polls at the council level and all that. I think some women candidates came. I don't know who won.
But that's the thing, they openly asked people to vote for just the Hindu candidates.
Bad thing to do.
People have been getting trafficked from the scheduled caste to Arab countries where they are forced to convert to Islam. If the entire community in a village is converted like this, the name of the village also changes. One such example was Meenakshipuram, which is now known as Ahmadpuram. The 1947 partition had caused a lot of pain, especially to the Hindus. Around 30 lakh Hindus were forced to convert in Pakistan and Bangladesh. And that is why a group like ours, the Hindu Munnani, was formed by a fellow Pracharak, Rama Gopalacharan. Hindu Munnani will protect the country from another such partition. It will protect the Hindus.
How long should a Hindu simply keep listening to the insults thrown at him in the name of whatever you call it, secularism or whatever? So, Hindu Munnani is a reaction to the way Dravidar Kazhagam conducted its business. I call again it's a business. I use words very carefully after thinking through. Okay? Insulting Hindu gods. So when somebody insults Hindu gods, if he has to be shut up, I'm telling you, I'm challenging you, even Tamil Nadu police, when the government is there, will not listen to us if I go and give a complaint. But when I say I am going to conduct a similar theatrics, I will call it theatrics because we do it with a purpose that we are going to talk about other gods, so-called other gods, then police come and talk to both of us, asking us stop. That is how it started and that is how it has grown. There is a necessity today in all over India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, to be an assertive Hindu.
That is RSS identity as a Hindu organization. India is a Hindu Rashtra. If that is the identity, it will definitely not work in Tamil Nadu.
Is that why it is not working in Tamil Nadu so far?
It has not worked so far in Tamil Nadu. But it has started working in Tamil Nadu as you have seen the results, the election results. And as you've seen in the waning of the hostility and animosity towards the BJP leadership, towards Narendra Modi. Now we have got a very vibrant leadership in the BJP, which is trying to take to the people. They are doing Annamalai. I'm not talking about just Annamalai or the machinery that is captained by Annamalai. They are doing two things. One, they are trying to debunk the negative publicity against Modi on the one hand. Not saying that we are not untouchable. We are not bad people. On the other hand, what they are doing is they are trying to tell the people what the central projects, how they have benefited, how the central projects have benefited, the numbers, they are talking of numbers here. Then the third thing that is happening now, which the BJP has not been doing so far, which the BJP leadership in Tamil Nadu has not been doing so far, is attacking the government in power.
Definitely BJP is part of Parivar. When I say Parivar, we have 40, 50 plus organizations working on multiple fields inspired by RSS. So we have 40, 50 plus organizations which are inspired by RSS and working in different fields. Janasangh and BJP was like that, inspired by RSS and working in political field. So that's the association and nothing more, nothing less.
But the
RSS and BJP can assimilate and differentiate, can integrate and differentiate according to their aspirations, according to circumstances. And RSS can disown BJP and saying that this is not our position, whether it is on the globalization, on the liberalization, but it is their government. They have done some innumerable time. They have done that, but it is their government. And so now the difference is very clear why in Tamil Nadu people say that they are not the same, and why people believe that they are not the same yet they are together. They are one from within actually. So this is a tactical thing. Can BJP do something that what RSS does not approve? It is not possible. And does BJP have any ideological orientation about Indian politics, about national politics and state politics different from RSS? I would say no. And then does BJP have another leader which it cherishes and celebrates other than what RSS does? And it doesn't have. So that is why politically and ideologically they are the same. That's what matters in politics. But as well as in the operational strategy is that you can be a member here, you need not be a member there. And so this is kind of the flexibility within that system. But this flexibility is not because of the need for flexibility or diversity. This flexibility is a strategy to absolve oneself from certain responsibilities of saying and doing things.
The RSS as a workforce, whether it is actively campaigning for a political party or a candidate in an election, or it cannot stay apolitical when it comes to at election time. Whether it is at a street level telling your neighbor, or at a community level telling your school colleagues or office colleagues, the RSS is definitely going to contribute.
There is no difference between RSS and the BJP. Without the RSS, BJP will not be there. BJP will not function and cannot function. Nobody dare say anything from the BJP against the RSS. So the RSS is, as Mr. Rahul Gandhi points out, RSS is the organization which is controlling the BJP and de facto controlling the entire state, entire country.
That is one thing. BJP is not accepted in Tamil Nadu because they are wedded to Sanskrit, they are wedded to Hindi. All along in the past, so far, they prefer only a Sanskrit loving or Hindi loving Brahmins only to lead the party in Tamil Nadu, whereas Tamil Nadu is against Brahmin domination in Tamil Nadu because the Brahmins whose mother tongue is Tamil. They are most of the Brahmins whose mother tongue is Tamil. They themselves are wedded closely to Sanskrit and Hindi, which is not liked by the other communities. That is the unfortunate thing. We have suffered in the past. Muslim vote we have lost. Christian vote considerably we have lost.
Okay.
And because they don't treat Muslims or Christians or Indians at all.
They don't, they want to deny access to education. They want to ensure that reservation is not followed. They want to ensure that only the privileged few get all the benefits like the EWS quota. So many things are there which we oppose. We oppose NEET. NEET again is favored by the RSS. So many things like this are there.
I don't think there is a necessity as a local Karyakarta. This suits me very well. I avoid lot of... I don't know. Dr. Ji would have thought that it will be a distraction, and maybe in the 1920s it was so that a lot of men are only coming out and working for the more than women. Women had a different agenda at home maybe. I don't know what Dr. Ji thought when he started Sangha for Men, but it is serving a practical purpose.
Demand and money is not there in RSS. Basically, we are alive thinking 95 years.
Sangha is not there to work on everything. I don't know why we should do anything about women empowerment, because women empowerment has to happen naturally, and it is happening naturally.
I always
biggest claim the RSS smartness is that they can disown anything, they can own anything.
It's always up to their convenience.
Yeah, it's up to their convenience. They have no guilt. They have no consciousness.
Right.
And like, they have no guilt, they have no consciousness. So when you don't have a consciousness, when you don't have a guilt, when you only have an ideology, and like, you can own anything, you can disown anything.
Right.
And I can give you many examples.
Would love to hear some.
One such is the assassination of the father of this nation.
Right.